A lot of agents, after hearing how this program works and the intricacies and the myths and everything, they get pumped up. They say, geez, like if I follow the agent investor model and I sell real estate to make a living, and then I find 1 or 2 or 3 partner deals per year. By the way, 3 partner deals per year will get you about $100,000, which you can use for anything, or you can invest in assets. All right, welcome everybody to Agent Investor, the only platform that helps real estate agents get off the real estate roller coaster by diversifying their income and owning assets, gaining passive income, doing fix and flips, so that you are not 100% reliant on your sales income, not only to make a living, but to retire, to live comfortably. We help agents invest in real estate so they can avoid the ups and downs of the market, so that no matter what happens with this recent NAR settlement, so that no matter what happens with agent commissions, so that no matter what happens, you're starting your year off with passive income, with the ability to do fix and flips for big chunks of income. And we teach and train on this every single week. So thank you for tuning in today. We help agents diversify their income mainly by following what I call the agent investor model. Some of you may have heard me talk about this in the past or at some point, but the agent investor model is really simple. For starters, there's a reason I call it agent investor. Agent investor combines being an agent and being an investor so that you don't have to do a bunch of stuff outside of what your normal day-to-day is. And the agent investor model teaches you not only how to make more money as an agent, but to build passive income as an investor. And it's a 3-step process. It's really simple, and it's something that any agent can do. Step number 1 is something that you're already doing. Keep selling real estate. Don't stop selling real estate. Sell real estate to pay your bills. That's what it ends up being for most agents anyways. Most agents don't make enough money through sales to save a ton of money, maybe save a little bit of money, but keep selling real estate. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is to generate fix and flip opportunities by generating seller leads, which is something that we teach and train on all the time, and convert the 20% of all seller leads that want to sell to a cash investor into a fix and flip opportunity that you either do on your own or partner with us. The reason that you want to do that is it's going to generate big chunks of income. The average fix and flip profit when we partner with an agent is $80,000, which means that if you partner with us, on average, you're going to get a check for about $40,000. Then that leads us to step number 3. Take that $40,000 and invest into assets that you own and operate that provide passive income for you for life, or take that big chunk of income and invest it into syndications where somebody else owns and operates the piece of real estate to also pay you for the rest of your life. My goal when I work with people, or I even just teach and train or talk to any agents, is to help you generate $5 or $10 or $15 or $20 or $30,000 a month of passive income each and every month, so that it does not matter whether you sell a house or not. It does not matter whether or not you had a bad winter, or whether you started your year off tough, or whether or not there's going to be a ton of transactions. There have been more real estate agents in the past couple of years that have been successful agents that went out and got jobs. Why did they get jobs? Not because they wanted to, but because transaction counts are majorly down. So today, when we're talking about the agent investor model, part 2 of that is to generate big chunks of income through fixing and flipping real estate. Now, some agents will fix and flip on their own. Some will fix and flip on their own and partner with us, but some just want to partner with us. By now, I'm sure that you've heard about our agent investor partnership model. If you get an off-market opportunity to fix and flip a house, we'll go out, we'll actually meet with the seller, make the seller an offer, put the property under contract, actually advance you some of the profits, and we will buy the property, we will renovate it, and we will resell it like a traditional flip. Like I mentioned earlier, on average, when we're partnering with agents, the average profit is $80,000. And on average, we're sending a check or a wire to an agent for 40 grand. Now, when I initially tell people, and today we're going to focus, by the way, on agent investor partnership myths. And these are the reasons why a lot of agents who could partner with us, a lot of agents who could get those $40,000 hits of income don't. And there's a lot of myths when it comes to the partnership program. And it's crazy because even though, I have a call every single week that you can register and learn more about the partnership program, even when people go through that call and I have a slide called partnership myths, a lot of times these myths still exist. So I want to talk about those myths today because a lot of agents are missing the boat here. And they're missing opportunities because they don't exactly understand how it works, or they have some kind of preconceived notion about how the partnership program would work. So first, before I even talk about the myths, one by one, I want to just set the table for why this program exists for me, selfishly, and why it would benefit you, because I think once you understand that, a lot of these myths will be a little bit easier to knock down. So first and foremost, my company has, fixed and flipped over 100 houses a year for 10 plus years. We've done probably close to 1,500 fix and flips, somewhere in that area. We have construction teams and construction crews, some on payroll, some independent contractors that can do somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 200 flips per year. Now, we haven't hit the 150 to 200 per year because we haven't been able to get the deal flow. Now, many of you know, we spend a lot of money on marketing. We have a really good referral base. We, spend money on things like mailers and pay-per-click and Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff to generate opportunities. But just like you as an agent are having a little bit more difficulty in the past few years getting listings, we are having the same issue getting flips. So although we have this machine, we have these people that can get 150 to 200 done per year. And we thought, going back a few years ago, that we were going to be able to hit those numbers. We haven't been able to because of the decline in the amount of sellers selling their properties due to the mortgage rate lock-in effect. So we've had this capacity to kind of do a lot more flips than we've been doing. So a couple of years ago, we were talking as a company, and I've got two partners in my business. We were talking about how we can get more fix and flips into the business because we've got crews and we've got people that we need to keep busy, and we have more capacity to do more deals. So my thought was, well, agents come across fix and flip opportunities by accident all the time. Why not create some sort of program where we give them an incentive to refer us deals? And we sat down and we talked about how that might work. A lot of investors will, give an agent a listing back if they refer them to a deal, or they'll give them some sort of incentive. But I wanted to make sure, because we have the capacity to do the 150 to 200 per year, I wanted to make it like really a no-brainer for agents to work with us. I wanted to make it so that they didn't even have a question of who they were going to send their fix and flip deals to. So I said to my partners, and we talked about it at the time, I said, I bet you that if we gave up 50% of our profits, which is a lot, I bet you that would be intriguing enough to get more deal flow. And sure enough, it was. So we are averaging right now one fix and flip deal per week by partnering with agents. I want to do 2 per week. I want to do 100 in the next 12 months. That's the reason I'm talking right now. That's the reason I do a lot of promotion and teach and train agents on how to find deals. But if you think about it again, like the why to this, which is going to knock down some of these myths, is because why do we do it? Well, truth be told, if I could get 200 flips per year without partnering, I would do it. We don't have the ability to do that right now, right? So we need deal flow. We want deal flow. And again, agents come across these deals by accident. So we have untapped human resources that can get these deals done. And if you think about it from our perspective, there's a lot of money on the table to do this. So, in the past 12 months, we've done about 50 partner deals. If the average partner deal is making 80 grand and we get half, you take 50 deals, times $40,000 to our side, that's a couple $1,000,000. You take 100 deals, times 40,000, which is our side, that's $4 million. So for me, this is a very profitable thing to do, right? And that's another piece of one of the myths that sometimes I hear, like this is too good to be true, or other kind of, myths, where I think once you understand that these deals are all extra for us, we don't have the ability to get these deals on our own. We can't get to 150 to 200 on our own. In order for us to get there, we need real estate agents. I think all of this stuff will kind of make a lot more sense. But the number one priority for me in my business, the way that I can drive the most revenue to the bottom line for my business, is to go from one of these partnership deals per week to two, right? It's a $2 million swing. It's a pretty good deal for us. All right. So let's talk about these myths kind of one by one, and I've got them, written down. The first partnership myth, and these are in no particular order. These are all just myths that I hear on a day-to-day basis. The first myth that I hear on a day-to-day basis, or that I realize after the fact, is that agents really have to screen these in order to send me something. A lot of times agents, they'll want to have a long discussion about kind of like what our buy box is. What do we buy? They want to make sure it's a great deal before they send it over to me. And I can't stress enough that I would infinitely rather you send me a deal and then me take the 1 minute or 2 minutes to underwrite it myself, rather than you screen it and then maybe, think the same thoughts that I have, or maybe not. And I actually had a case where an agent who used to work for my company back in the day actually posted a fix and flip deal that they referred to one of their investors. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, why didn't you send me this deal? We could have partnered on it. And she said to me, well, I didn't think it was that good of a deal. And so I asked her for the numbers, got the numbers, and long story short, it would have been a deal that we would have partnered on. So for her as an agent, maybe she made $10,000 or $15,000, getting that listing back, but she could have made 40 or somewhere in that vicinity if she partnered with us. So she would have made a bunch more money. We would have made a bunch more money. And frankly, if, the other investor that she's working with, we are a much better company to work with because we're more of a guarantee. So some people who fix and flip houses, they do 1 or 2 or 3 a year. They could be all different reasons why they might back out, or they may ask for a reduction, or they may not, be able to do the next fix and flip, whereas we've got a ton of capacity to do it. So what I ask every person that's listening to this right now is, anytime that you get a seller that might consider an offer, right? It doesn't have to be a slam dunk deal. It doesn't even have to be a good deal. Just a seller that might consider an offer. All that I ask you to do is to send me a message on Facebook Messenger. Most of you have already friend requested me and followed me and sent me a message by now. But if not, I would suggest that you do that, because that's going to be the best way to communicate with me for these fix and flip opportunities. So my Facebook profile is not Tom Caffarella. It is Tommy Caffarella, Tommy, and then my last name, Caffarella. So if you're listening to this and you haven't followed me or friend requested me on Facebook and sent me a Facebook message, please do so now, because I would like to have the lines of communication open for anybody that's thinking about sending us a fix and flip deal. Okay. I'm really easy to get in touch with. Some of you may think that you've got my phone number or think that you've got my email. You probably don't. The best way to get in touch with me is through Facebook Messenger. So we will look at properties all over the United States. We will look at every type of property. If there's money to be made, we will consider it. So please just send it to me. You have an opportunity, you're not sure, don't worry about it. I'd rather take the 1 to 2 minutes. As I said in the beginning, when I gave my kind of initial reason that we're doing this and how much money we have to stand to make, 100 partner deals times 40 grand to our side, that's $4 million in a year. Trust me, I want you to send me these deals. I don't care whether or not they're good or bad or whatever. Don't worry about that. So that's myth number 1. Myth number 2, I need to be an agent to partner with Tom. So I know that there are some people who are on here who are wholesalers, or you're a mortgage broker, or you're an insurance person, or whatever. Maybe, you work a W-2 job and you just are very interested in investing in real estate. That's totally cool. Send me your deals. I'll still partner with you. The reason that, I focus so much on agents is agents just have a higher propensity to find deals. Agents are going to come across more deals than the average mortgage broker, than the average insurance agent, than the average teacher or firefighter or police officer in general. But that does not mean that we will not partner with somebody else. It doesn't matter to me, who I'm cutting a 50% profit check to. I'm happy to cut it to anybody. So please, if you're, not an agent, don't worry about it. Go out, find deals and send them our way. All right. The next myth I want to talk about is a huge myth that it's kind of unfortunate that this myth exists, but it does for whatever reason. A lot of people will say, well, I can't partner with Tom because I'm not one of his agents, or I'm not in his inner circle program. I'm not in his coaching program. And no matter how many times I say this is probably the number one reason why people don't partner with us. They believe, for whatever reason, that they need to be an agent that works for my company, or they need to be in my mentorship group. You don't need to be. Again, if you think about like what's on the line for me, well, if you come over to my brokerage, the most I can make working with somebody in a year, because we've got a cap of $20,000 at our brokerage, is $20,000. If you refer me a deal, I'll probably make about 40. So you have to kind of think about this logically. Me saying, hey, you need to work for my brokerage in order to partner with me, I'm going to lose money by doing that. And I'm not in the business of doing that. I don't want to do that. And then the second part to that is, yes, I do have, a coaching program to help people find more deals, to help people invest in real estate, to get one-on-one help. Yes, there are a lot of people that sign up for it, get value out of it, but you do not need to be in my coaching program or work for my brokerage or even be an agent to partner with us. There's just too much money on the line for me to do that. It really wouldn't make any sense. And I think part of that myth is kind of that sometimes people may not believe like fully that the partnership program is real. Because if it's real and we're going to do 50 to 100 deals in a year, that's $2 to $4 million to our bottom line. That's bigger than our bottom line for our 400 person, brokerage. That's more than I make by far in the coaching program. I don't really make much money in the coaching program. I don't want to. It's not what I intend to do. I run the coaching program and I run the brokerage to facilitate me getting more deals, to facilitate helping agents invest in real estate. So I lead with the investing. And, if you join my brokerage, there's a lot of benefits. If you join my inner circle coaching program, there's a lot of benefits. But first and foremost, I want to do deals and I want to help agents invest in real estate. So doesn't matter who you're affiliated with, doesn't matter what state you're in, doesn't matter whether you're licensed or whether you're licensed with us. We want to partner with you for sure. Okay, so next myth. And this is an interesting one. This is one I didn't really realize until recently, but it's one that kept popping up. And, when I see agents list fix and flip opportunities and don't send them to me, I ask them why. I said, hey, if your seller can benefit, if you can benefit by partnering with us, how come you didn't send me the deal? And the answer I kept getting over and over again was essentially, I'll get paid faster by listing the house than if I were going to partner with you, which is another myth. Okay, so part of the partnership program that we do now is we actually give a portion of the profits upfront at the time of purchase. So, the thought is, yes, I might make more money by partnering with Tom, but I'll get paid faster if I list this property. That is false, because we now will pay an agent part of the upfront profit at the time of purchase. So let's just say that we go out we make an offer on, a property that you found. We can close on that property in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you get paid part of the profits then, which is faster than you would get, if you ended up listing the property. And another portion of that, kind of like a part of that that's a part of the thought is, well, I know I'm going to make money by listing the house. What happens if the flip doesn't make money? Which is where, when we are now giving upfront money ahead of time, when the property closes, we're putting our money where our mouth is. We know the deal's going to make money, and we're willing to actually put our money where our mouth is and say, hey, here's part of the profits up front so that you get paid faster. Hey, and if everything goes wrong for whatever reason, which doesn't happen very often, you still made money. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next myth. The next myth is, and this is a very common one, this is another reason why a lot of times agents who have fix and flip opportunities do not do deals with us. And the myth is, sellers are always better putting their property on the MLS. It always makes sense for a seller to put their property on the MLS. And that is untrue. And saying that a seller is always better off putting their property on the MLS is like saying that there is one product or service for everybody, right? So right now, I'm wearing Nike sneakers, and I like my Nike sneakers. They're comfortable. I've worn Nike sneakers since I've probably been about 15 years old. Not really interested in changing. I pay, $120 or whatever for a pair of sneakers, and I buy these products all the time. But it would be like me saying, because I like these Nike running sneakers, that I pay $100, $120, $130 for, that's what you should buy too. And that's not true, right? Some people don't like Nike. Some people think $120 is too much. Some people think that you should buy more expensive shoes. Some people would say, hey, a guy like me, maybe I shouldn't even wear sneakers. Maybe I should wear dress shoes. So to say that every person should sell their house by listing their house, that is basically saying that I do not believe in giving my seller options. And it's also a statement, in fact, that the person doesn't understand what the benefits of selling to an investor are. So let me be clear about this. Only 20% of all sellers who understand the difference between listing and selling their house direct to us will sell direct to us. In 80% of all cases, we're going to go out, we're going to explain the benefits of selling directly to us, and we're going to give them the price. And they're going to say, hey, I would rather list with my agent. I'd rather put my house on the market, and I'd rather, deal with inspections and deal with open houses and, deal with the uncertainty of the sale in order to try to get the most amount of money possible. We understand that. We're cool with that. We're happy to even be like a backup offer for your seller. But I can tell you that there are a ton of reasons why the 20% of all sellers do want the cash offer. And I could do a whole podcast episode on this, but I'll just give one kind of simple example. We had a seller in Natick, Massachusetts, went out to the property. They lived in the property their entire life. They were not working. It was their parents' house, but they still lived there. They wanted to sell it because they couldn't take care of it anymore, and they wanted to rent. They went out, tried to get a rental property. No landlords would actually rent to them. Why? Because they had no income. So what we did was we actually went to the landlord on the property they wanted to live. We gave them 2 years worth of rent up front and secured that person with a rental. That's just one of about 30 examples of things that can't really happen if you're listing a property, right? So I could give you all of the variety of different reasons why people sell to us and the situations, but that would be a podcast episode in and of itself. High level, all I'm going to say is this, is that there is never any negative to giving your seller an option, right? There's two ways you can sell your house. You can sell your house the traditional way, or you could sell your house off market. And we are experts in going over the pros and cons of what those both look like. And with your help, we're going to help the seller make the best option, the best choice for themselves. If we buy it, you enter into the partnership program with us. If we don't buy it, you list the house like you were going to do anyways. So it is definitely a misconception that all sellers should list their property on the MLS. It's not true. I could give, and I have testimonials online of sellers that we've worked with. And I can tell you again, it's the vast majority of sellers are going to want to list, but those who don't knowingly understand why they're doing it, right? Okay. So the next myth. The next myth is, well, they're going to give a budget and they're going to tell us what the renovation is, but what happens if they go $50,000 over? What happens if they go over on the budget? What happens if they tell us that the profit's going to be 50 grand and then it becomes 10 or it becomes 5? Well, this is another part of our program that works out really well, and it will, alleviate that concern. So first of all, we're going to give you a portion of the profit up front. So you're going to get paid up front no matter what. But the second thing that we do is before we buy the property, we enter in to a partnership agreement with you, which spells everything out. But even better than entering into a legal agreement with you, we're going to give you the projected profit and loss, which includes our renovation budget that we own. What does it mean to own the renovation budget? That means that if we come out to the house and we think the budget's going to be $80,000, we own the $80,000. If it goes to 90, we still charge the deal 80, right? If we think it's going to be 80 and it goes to 100, we still charge the deal 80. Why do we do this? Well, again, going back to the beginning, I've got a lot of money at stake to do 100 fix and flip deals in the next 12 months. I want to do them, right? We know that, we'll go over budget here and there sporadically, but I want to make sure that agents have the biggest incentive possible to send us deals. So therefore, I'm going to own the budget. You don't have to worry about the budget. Whatever the budget is in the P&L is going to be the budget when it's done. All right, moving on. There are fees to partner with Tom. Okay? There are no fees. That is a myth. There are no fees of any kind. A lot of people think there's an upfront fee. I got to pay Tom $5,000 to just, have the ability to partner with him. Or there's some sort of fee in the transaction, which neither are true, right? So we make our money doing the fix and flips. We don't make our money like selling people into this program. Okay. Just to be clear. All right. Next myth. I need to bring some money to the table. Now I know that, if you're listening to this, you may not think this, but believe it or not, every couple of weeks I get an agent that comes to me and says, Tom, I want to partner with you, but I don't have half the money for the down payment. I don't have half the money for the construction. And that's perfectly fine because there's no out of pocket to the agent when they partner with us. Okay. $0 come out of the agent's pocket. All right. So next one. I love this one. This is too good to be true. Or like sometimes when I send a Facebook message to somebody explaining the program, they'll write back like scam, or they'll automatically block me, or they'll get angry. As though there is something about this program. They think it's too good to be true. And again, the why to this, like, I think in the beginning when I explained like why we're doing this, it's so much easier to understand. We have capacity to do 150 to 200 of these a year. We're not doing that on our own, right? When we partner with agents, these are extra deals, right? We don't have a way to manufacture these extra deals other than doing this. Right. So, is it a good deal for agents? Yeah. Does it sound like maybe it could be too good to be true? Yeah. Like, nobody else is doing this. Nobody else can do this. Nobody else can do this in a large volume. Nobody else can do this in a large, geographic area, but that doesn't mean it's not real. And the biggest thing I would say about that, besides just understanding, is scroll down my Tommy Caffarella Facebook profile, and you're going to see a bunch of agents that we've partnered with. In this day and age, you probably have a mutual friend or two or three. A lot of people in the real estate industry are connected. feel free to reach out to those people. Feel free to reach out. How did it go? What was it like? We have enough people that we've partnered with at this point that you can do that. I'm always happy to provide, references on top of that. But yeah, it's not too good to be true because we're making a lot of money doing this. And the last one is kind of like a hidden myth. When I say it's a hidden myth, it's something that people kind of don't always believe. They kind of fight it. They want to get around what I'm about to say. And it's probably the most important myth, although most people will not take action on what I'm about to say. So if you've listened, to all of this, right? And you understand this and you believe everything that I've told you so far. And, a lot of people do. A lot of agents, after hearing how this program works and the intricacies and the myths and everything, they get pumped up. They say, geez, if I follow the agent investor model and I sell real estate to make a living, and then I find 1 or 2 or 3 partner deals per year. By the way, 3 partner deals per year will get you about $100,000, roughly. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less, but you do 3 partner deals in a year, you can make $100,000, which you can use for anything, or you can invest in assets. So a lot of people hear this and they're like, oh, I'll definitely find something, or I'll make sure that I'm on the lookout for this. And the reality is that most agents will never partner with us. That makes me sad because any agent could partner with us, but most won't. And why won't most? Why most won't is because they don't understand how to do any of this stuff. They don't know how to generate seller opportunities in volume. They don't know how to have the conversation with the seller. They may not remember about this partnership program 2 or 3 months down the road. And ultimately, they're interested in the partnership program, but they're not kind of committed to making it happen, which is really unfortunate because you can see kind of what the results can get you. You do 3 of these a year and you sell for a living, right? You pay all your bills by selling real estate. Then you make $100,000 by partnering with us. You turn that into a syndication. Now you're making $10,000 or $15,000 for the rest of your life, either owning an asset or by, investing in syndications, investing in other people's assets. You do that for 3 or 4 or 5 years in a row. Now you've got $100,000 of income coming in every single year. You've got $8,000 to $10,000 coming in every single month for the rest of your life, right? So you just got yourself a pension in maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Okay. So why don't most people commit? Well, there's a lot of reasons why most people don't commit, but the number one reason in my mind is because they think it's going to be easy. And they think, well, I'll stumble across something at some point. And some people do. But unless you're more proactive about it and take a more proactive approach, it's going to be challenging. So what do I mean by a more proactive approach? When I say more proactive approach, I don't necessarily mean that you're spending all hours of the day out hunting for deals. But when I say a more proactive approach, I'm saying that you set a goal on how many sellers you're going to meet within a week. And then you set a marketing strategy on how to do that. And then you proactively work that every single week. You don't need to generate a ton of seller appointments every week to do investor deals, right? You generate, 1 a week, which is a lot. Getting 1 seller appointment in a week is a lot. But you do 1 seller appointment a week, call it 50 in a year, right? 20% of all those people are going to be interested in cash offers, right? So you've got 10 people that might take a cash offer. Maybe you close 3 or 4 or 5 out of those, right? That gets you to your $100K a year, right? Or more. Maybe you could do 5. But in my opinion, the only way to do that is really to be focused on it every single day. How do you get focused on it every single day? How do you learn how to do this stuff? How do you learn how to generate these seller appointments and let people know that you're in the business? I'm going to be doing a call, and I do this call every week that you can register for at www.partnerwithagенtinvestor.com. On the call, I'm going to go into more detail on exactly how you can find these deals. How can you generate an appointment a week or 2 appointments a week or an appointment every 2 to 3 weeks, whatever it is. But how do you stay active doing this? And again, there's a reason why I call this agent investor, because guess what, guys? If you're generating 1 seller appointment a week, what else do you think is going to happen? You're not going to just generate investor opportunities. You're also going to generate listing opportunities. What's better to have, a listing or a buyer? Well, we all know the answer that it's a listing for so many different reasons. But yet, most agents do not proactively focus a lot of effort on seller lead generation. I've never figured it out. Right? I got my license in 2005. Almost immediately, I went right after sellers. Yes, I work with buyers. I'm not saying don't work with buyers, but I realized early on, and I knew early on, and a lot of people told me early on, list to last, go after sellers. So that's what I teach and preach on. Again, if you want to learn more about how to do that, how to be proactive, how to get around other people that do this, go to www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. The call is completely free. There's no sales pitch to it. We just go into detail on helping people, find deals. Why do I do it for free? Well, I'm kind of not really doing it for free because I'm going to get paid by you guys partnering with me. So I'm happy to teach and train people how to do any of these things. There are a lot of different ways that you can generate investor opportunities. And again, I'll talk more on the call about that. But today's episode was all about the myths. And don't let the myths of the partnership program prevent you from doing deals. Because again, coming full circle, like, what are we trying to do here? Like, why are you on this call? Why should you be on this call? Why are you listening right now? To me, you should be on this call because you want to build wealth. You want to build passive income to make your life better. Like, that's why we work, right? There's no other reason why we work. We work because we want to make our life better. We want to make our life easier for ourselves, for our kids, for legacies into the future. How do you do that? Well, if you're focused on the right things, you can make that happen. None of this stuff is hard, but it does require you to do the right things every single day, right? It's all about habits. It's all about doing the right stuff every single day. On that call, I'll talk much more about that at www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. I want to thank you guys today for tuning in, listening to the myths, and I hope to, it's no guarantee that I'm going to do these 100, partner deals in the next 12 months. So I need your help. I hope that you'll plug into more of my stuff. I hope you listen to my podcast. I hope you jump on that call with me at www.partnerwithagentinvestor.com. I hope that you'll reach out to me with deals on Facebook Messenger. And together, we will build wealth through real estate sales and investing. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you soon.